Okay, so now that I've kind of come to the end of my daily math calendar journey, I just wanted to describe a bit what my calendar math looks like. So typically, when students arrive in class right after recess, it's about 10:30, and the first thing they do is usually do some type of number sentence work. Usually I have little strips of paper or little booklets they can work on just as an activity to bring them in and really start focusing their understanding into the subject of math. Once all the students have made their way in from recess, which takes quite a long time in grade 1, then they are usually directed to the carpet. We have a little discussion there about math, maybe what we're going to be learning that day in math. And then I say, you know what to wait for, grade 1s. And they know what to wait for. As soon as they hear the Days of the Week song, that starts off our daily calendar math chunk. And usually the students then come to their desks, they take out their folders, take out their calendar math books. I usually get students to whisper to one another what the day of the week is, what is the date. They'll do that. Maybe I'll ask them what's tomorrow's date or what's yesterday's date or the date 2 days from now. They then fill in today's date on their March calendar in their workbook, and we might do some math problems around that. So, for example, I've done math problems where I say we're going to start on this date. One of my students will use their names and say this student started saving money. They wanted to buy an item from the store. They wanted to buy a soccer ball. So they started saving this much money on this day. And if they save that much money each day, on what date will they be able to buy that item? That's a really good one because it can bring in so many strategies. So in the beginning, students were using count all when we first started doing addition. That's a strategy they could use. And then counting on, skip counting, more and more strategies began to be used. And it's been crazy that way because you do get to see the students' daily use of concepts and the daily use of skills and strategies, and you can see which students have it and which don't. From then, my students usually go on, maybe they might do some other number work. I always get students to take the day of the month, whether it's the 19th, the 2nd, whatever, represent that in tallies. Sometimes you might add a number onto that day of the week, or subtract a number and to represent that new number in tallies. Then we usually do subitizing, which is where you dot flash to students. So if there's 10 dots arranged on the board, students try, first of all, just to look to see what's on the board. Secondly, they look, when the second time I flash it, they look for different groups. So if you see a cluster of 10, you might put them into groups of 4, 2 groups of 4, and then a group of 2. So that's usually part of our daily calendar. Aside from math questions, we then head into weather. We always pick a weather person. They go to the window, report what the weather's like, and then we fill in our bar graph or pictograph. And you can use a lot of math questions around the bar graph and pictograph. Not only can you say how many more days have been sunny, but you can engage in conversations with students about how the weather has affected their life, about the coming forecasts, and about future dates and stuff like that. And that really gets that understanding and that concept of time flowing, and you can make it so applicable to their daily lives. Something as simple as, well, if you're planning to bring a ball to school, maybe how many days or what date will be able to do that, to play outside, based on the forecast. Those are just some of the highlights of my calendar math. That main part is, though, establishing effective routines with your students, hitting as many curricular outcomes as you can, making sure that the content you're delivering to students and the concepts you're delivering to students do fit their cognitive stage of development. I've noticed too, it's really good times with calendar math. You can throw a lesson at the students, a question at the students that will challenge the higher level students. And at the same time, you can throw a question to students that challenge the lower students in math. And that's been really great in the aspect of differentiation. But really, my total understanding of calendar math has changed, and that has changed the physical space of my calendar math, my delivery of calendar math, my routines with calendar math, and the content and the curricular outcomes that I'm trying to connect students with during my daily calendar math.